reached the stage where we're going to have to start painting this hall. Before we do that, I wanted to talk about a few things that we left out. For instance, these little vent holes down here. Now, none of the kits that I had actually provided any type of screening, so you do your best on trying to figure out how you're going to do this. What I did was I happen to have the detail kits that came with the Missouri. Those radar screens, they fit perfect for here. They're just a little bit larger than normal, but it still catches that effect. Over here you can see the pipe that goes alongside of the ship right underneath this slip here, as well as the beams. What I used was this steel rod, and what I like about this, you can't really bend this, and that's what I needed, something that was going to go straight across. But we wanted to get these in there before we painted the hull. So here are the paints that I'll be using. The typical black testers paint, of course the standard flat white, so both of these are flat black and white. That's very easy to figure out. The hull was pretty difficult, but I'm going to go with dull red. If you get it in the bottle, it's called hull red. It seems darker, but when I match the two colors, I mean, you can barely see the difference. And I've been using this on all the hulls I've painted. So here's the Missouri ship. Now, when you look at the hull, this color looks really good, and this was painted directly onto the PE. There's no black layer underneath, which what I'll be doing with the Titanic, which will make this a slight shade darker. The whole point I'm trying to make is that this dull red looks really good, and this is the one that I'll be using with the Titanic as well. Now that we figure out the paint we're going to use as far as the red paint is concerned, now we need to figure out how we're going to spray this paint on here. There's been a lot of controversy whether this line is straight or curved, and I found an article which I attached that actually puts a good emphasis on how this line is installed. And basically it's curved at the bow and the stern and straight in the middle. What I didn't exactly understand was where it ends up, end of the bow and in this area right here. So I made this little blueprint. When you look at point 1, you can see this line, which is called the antifouling line, goes just above the second bolt on the rudder. Now from that point on the rudder itself, it goes straight, and coming back onto the stern area, it starts curving into the center of the condenser discharge hole, which is point 2. From point 2 to point 3 is a straight line. Now I couldn't tell exactly where point 3 is, but it seems to be somewhere around Kohlendorf 9, where this line starts to recurve towards the bow. Again, the article was a little vague on where exactly point 4 was on the bow itself. So if you have no detail on the top of the bow itself, you come from the top of the bow and measure 2 7/8 of an inch. That should pretty much get you right where you need to be. But at any rate, the next thing I'm debating is on these two colors for the line. So these are the paints that I'll be using. Let's go ahead and start getting this hull painted. What I didn't mention was that we're going to be painting inside here to avoid the light burning through the walls. And I'm just going to be using some leftover paints from previous models and then put a clear coat on it so it can seal it real well. Now the tape you see in here is where areas where I don't want the paint to be on. That area is going to be where the LED lights are going to go.
All I want, all I want, me and you.
going to score this line across here. I've already measured this out. So basically, it's going to go across and make a small line. All the way across. It should end up right there. You go all the way back till you get to the actual rudder itself. I pretty much masked all this with just regular sheets of paper, and I'm just sealing off the seams here so the paint won't escape into that area. Okay. Pull the masking off, but that's what it looks like. I don't know if you guys remember that hauser hole. You can't even see it from here. Look at that. So there it goes right there. As you can see, we are done with the hull painting. I even took care of the zinc plate in the back. So all we have left here is actually the propellers, the anchors, the decals for the water level. As far as the propellers are concerned, I was having an issue with the propellers because the propellers that came with the trumpeter kit, I don't even want to talk about those. When I seen the propellers in the Pontos kit, I was kind of happy in a sense because I wasn't too familiar what these propellers actually look like, but I liked the idea that it was polished brass. It kind of complements the candle holders until I seen the AK propellers. They were so sharp. That led me to look into the great book to try to figure out what these propellers actually look like. And I recommend, if you're going to build this, at least get this one. Volume 2 deals with the inside. This is the one you want to get if you're dealing with the outside of the ship. But when I seen the propellers here, I was really satisfied that those AK propellers were the ones that I wanted to use, but they weren't metal. So I went and I searched through the internet. I spent countless hours trying to find a propeller that I wanted, and I came across a video from Midwest Model who showcased a bronze propeller, and I must tell you, that's exactly what I was looking for. He was also kind enough to leave the link below, so thank you for solving that issue for me. But as you can see right in front of you, these are the 4 propellers. Obviously the best ones are the AK and these 3D China propellers. So let's go ahead and finish this up. Like I said, we just got a few things to do. Let's go ahead and keep moving forward. we're finally done with the hull. It's all painted up. We have all the details on there. We have the decals and all the other little pieces that we needed to put on there, like the anchors and the propellers, so on and so forth. So let's take a closer look at what we done. So here we are on the starboard side of the bow. As you can see, we have all the details as well as the decals installed. Here are the water level decals, the anchor, the Titanic decal. If you recall, we went on ahead and took care of this hawser pipe hole, and it looks pretty sharp right there. As you can see, this is the mini brass detail kit that's on there. That came out really well. We're also on the stand. So the stand is never going to be removed from this point. So we'll be moving the ship itself, grabbing the candle holders like they're handles. Now the other thing, the beams and the pipe up here, that looks good. This unpainted area is where Woody's detail kit will start. And now we're going to move over to the stern area. And remember the propeller wings, they came out really sharp. And there's the propellers themselves, all painted with the decal and the zinc plating that's supposed to go on there. That is the hull plating and the hull decals. We also finished all the touch-up around the edges there. Oh, and let's not forget our condenser discharge hole. And the next step is getting this hull lit. So if you enjoyed this video, leave a thumbs up. If you're new to this channel, go ahead and subscribe. And thanks for watching. Let's move on to the next step.